Charlamagne calls out The View for lack of conservative voices. Imagine a popular daytime talk show that prides itself on diverse viewpoints, but consistently fails to include any conservative guests. That's precisely what Charlamagne the God found frustrating when he appeared on Lara Trump's My View segment on Fox News. He took to the Breakfast Club to criticize The View, an ABC show known for its liberal leanings, for hosting 102 left-leaning guests and 0 conservatives over the past 7 months. "Thank you, Lara Trump, for having me on My View," Charlamagne said. "I enjoyed the conversation, but it's ridiculous that The View has only talked to people they agree with. That makes no sense to me." This criticism comes amidst a broader debate about media bias and the need for viewpoint diversity in mainstream television. The 6 current hosts of The View, including Alyssa Farah Griffin, who previously worked as an aide to Donald Trump, have not supported him in the 2024 election. This absence of conservative voices on the show has sparked discussions about media neutrality and the impact of political bias on public opinion. Charlamagne's appearance on Lara Trump's show also delved into the findings of a recent study by the Media Research Center, MRC. The study analyzed The View's guest lineup from January 6 to July 25, 2025, revealing a complete absence of conservative perspectives on political topics. In April alone, the show welcomed 63 liberal guests without a single conservative. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue that The View is intentionally pushing a Democratic agenda, often criticizing Trump and his allies while elevating Democratic politicians. Critics like Nicholas Fondacaro from Newsbusters contend that this selective approach to guest selection undermines the show's credibility and fairness. The controversy surrounding The View's guest policy raises important questions about the role of media in shaping public discourse. Should talk shows strive for balanced representation of political views, or is it acceptable for them to cater to their established audience base? This is the part most people miss. The debate isn't just about The View. It reflects a larger issue in modern media. Many viewers wonder if the absence of conservative voices on liberal-leaning shows affects their understanding of different perspectives. What do you think? Should talk shows make a conscious effort to include a wider range of viewpoints? Or is it up to individual viewers to seek out diverse sources of information? Only one view? The View's 2025 guest lineup sparks conservative backlash. Full analysis. The all-female daytime show The View on ABC is under fire for presenting an overwhelmingly one-sided political perspective in 2025, featuring no conservative guests among the 102 political commentators invited so far this year. But here's where it gets controversial. This lack of balance has sparked intense debate about whether the show truly represents diverse viewpoints or simply pushes a singular political agenda. A recent investigation by the Media Research Center's Newsbusters closely examined every episode of The View from the start of 2025 through July. They reported that every single political guest, the full 102, expressed viewpoints aligned with the political left. Shockingly, the program hasn't booked a single guest promoting conservative or pro-Donald Trump policies to date. To break down the numbers, among these left-leaning voices were 19 Democratic politicians and 4 former staffers from Democratic presidential administrations. The rest included Hollywood celebrities, liberal journalists, social media influencers, and other public figures known for their progressive stances. In fact, the closest the show came to presenting a conservative perspective was when it hosted Arnold Schwarzenegger, a former California governor, who despite having some Republican credentials, voiced support for liberal policies like immigration reform. Even that appearance was framed through a liberal lens. According to Newsbusters, the last time the program featured a guest defending Donald Trump was back in 2024, with former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, marking a clear shift away from any Trump-supporting voices. Nicholas Fondacaro, an associate editor at Newsbusters, told Fox News that The View openly uses its platform to advocate Democratic Party positions, often by criticizing Trump and elevating Democratic figures. He emphasized that the show's name isn't just a title, but reflects its format, offering just one view. This revelation came as a surprise to popular radio host Charlamagne the God, real name Leonard Larry McKelvey, who appeared on Fox News with Lara Trump to discuss the findings. He called it ridiculous for a talk show to engage only with people whose viewpoints it already agrees with, and argued that such an approach makes no sense if the goal is honest conversation. On the other hand, Fox Friends co-host Brian Kilmeade expressed less shock, noting that The View has evolved from being somewhat balanced to a show filled with angry Democratic voices. And political commentator Guy Benson added in another Fox Friends segment that he was actually surprised the percentage of liberal guests wasn't even higher, describing the atmosphere atop The View as an insane asylum now. Historically, The View often included a conservative co-host who frequently clashed with the liberal voices on the panel, making for lively, contentious debates. The mid-2000s feud between Rosie O'Donnell and Elizabeth Hasselbeck became especially well known. More recently, Meghan McCain's departure from the show, citing feelings of being bullied, highlighted the challenges of maintaining a conservative presence. However, the show now deliberately avoids casting conservatives who openly support Trump. The current lone conservative co-host, Alyssa Farah Griffin, who was a White House staffer in Trump's first term, voted for Vice President Harris in 2024, leaning left herself. The Newsbusters report coincides with renewed backlash over Joy Behar's recent harsh comments about Trump, where she accused him of being so jealous of Barack Obama, contrasting Obama's positive traits like being trim, smart, handsome, happily married, and musically talented, implying that Trump cannot tolerate such comparisons. The White House responded swiftly by labeling Behar an irrelevant loser suffering from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, suggesting she reflect on her own envy of Trump's widespread popularity before ABC pulls the plug on her show. Trump himself hinted that The View might be next in line for cancellation. Adding to the tension, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, Brendan Carr, warned of possible regulatory issues and unresolved consequences facing the ABC program following Behar's remarks. During a Fox News interview, Carr mentioned the broader repercussions of Trump's challenges to media gatekeepers, implying that The View could face ongoing difficulties. He recalled a November 2024 incident when the show had to pause mid-broadcast to issue 4 separate legal disclaimers after making unverified allegations against Trump administration cabinet members, a rare and telling example of legal caution. Carr is known for advocating investigations into perceived media bias, including scrutinizing CBS's 60 Minutes over allegedly deceptive editing during an interview with then-presidential candidate Kamala Harris. He has also revived complaints over ABC News' moderation of a presidential debate and Harris's Saturday Night Live appearance. The View continues to be criticized for the staunchly left-wing views expressed by its New York City hosts, which many argue stand in stark contrast to the political views held by large swaths of the American public. The Daily Beast recently revealed that ABC News executives reportedly urged the hosts to soften their anti-Trump rhetoric, only to have those calls ignored, a telling sign that even the network struggles to control the message of this controversial program. This situation raises important questions. Should a talk show dedicated to political discussion strive to represent a full spectrum of opinions, or is it acceptable for it to promote a single ideological perspective? Does the absence of conservative voices on The View serve to advance open debate or narrow it? And ultimately, how do audiences benefit or suffer from such unchecked partisanship? We encourage readers to share their thoughts and join the conversation.